firstly Smash TV being played on the Midway arcade treasures on PS2. I first played the Super Nintendo port back when we had SNES 9X and our Xbox about 16-17 years ago, and first played the arcade version on the Xbox version of this collection a couple of years after that. As usual, I did a 1-player and 2-player run. In the far off year of 1999, people have become so much more violent that TV and especially game shows have adapted. The most popular is Smash TV, which is the most violent. 2 contestants are given an assortment of weapons to compete for cash and other prizes. The player enters the first arena and the host wishes them luck. The game uses 2 sticks, the left for moving and the right stick shoots in the direction you point it. If you die, you re-enter the arena with a green barrier for a few seconds that kills enemies on contact. There are presents to pick up containing prizes to point and another shield power-up that surrounds me at a greater distance. There are also a pickup that clears a screen of all enemies. In this first screen, the only enemies are baseball bat wielders. Once the room is cleared, I get shown a map to the boss and can pick any of the open doors to continue. First we decide to head towards that $sign. In the second, I get told to collect 10 keys for something at the end of the game. This room has a few mines planted on the floor that will blow you up if you stand on them. I pick up the grenade launcher which rapid fires to blow away huge groups, but the ammo runs out quick. We also get a few larger, fatter enemies that take multiple shots to kill. If you leave them too long, they explode and shrapnel gets sent in multiple directions which will also kill you. Everything kills me in one hit, so it's good in this collection that I have unlimited credits. The third room we end up in has a guy in the corner manning a turret. The fourth room ends up being almost entirely shrapnel guys. The fifth is the dollar room. It just loads the room upon prizes and leaves you to pick up as many as you can before they disappear. Then the enemies come in, including faster baseball bat men wearing purple. In this room I also pick up the rocket launcher. I don't have it for long before I get killed. Unlike the grenade launcher, it fires in a straight line and the rate of fire is lower. I also pick up an option to orbit me and mimic my shots like in a shmup. There's also a power-up that doubles your walking speed. In the next room we start getting enemies driving tanks and purple shrapnel men. Tank drivers fire a spread over the screen. The next room leads to the boss of the first arena, the Mutoid Man. Before he even shows up though, a group of flying balls come in and decapitate me. The Mutoid Man is a big torso on a tank with 2 guys manning turrets on him. He can run you over, smash you with his fists and fire lasers from his eyes. He can also shoot these blue ball things. He can't be damaged by regular fire, so you need to pick up the power-up to damage him. It's also canon in the Mortal Kombat series that this is an actual game show and Johnny Cage once played on a celebrity edition. I want to see that. After enough damage his arm comes off. The spread gun gets picked up around this point too. Soon after his other arm gets destroyed and his body gets blown open to reveal his ribs. I also pick up a key here, these will be important. There's another launcher that fires more exploding balls, this blows up his head. Soon after the body goes, revealing another head at the base. Once this head is finally destroyed, he's done. We leave through the exit and all of the hundreds of toasters, cars, video players and the cash we picked up are totted up the points. Now we move on to Arena 2. First new enemy is electric orbs that also shoot lasers. Like the shrapnel guys, they also take a couple hits to kill. Now we pretty much get the gist of the gameplay just from the first arena, so I'm not going to detail every room from now on, just the new things that crop up. Like the weird spinning top enemies in the next room, followed by flying drones. Can't forget the host who sometimes comes in to shout stuff. A few rooms later we get bombarded by what I think are supposed to be flying saucers. Not only do loads come in at once, but they also take more than one shot to kill, not to mention giant versions of the flying drones. 2 rooms later and 12 minutes into Arena 2 is the boss, Scarface. Each segment of the metal ring around his face can be individually damaged. It can ram into me and shoot many projectiles from himself. As he takes damage he loses an eye and his face gets bloody. Then he loses a chunk of his brain. Then goes the other eye and his teeth. Then the rest of his face blows up to leave just his skull. We manage to get a good strategy going, just pinning him in the corner as he slowly starts to crack while he fires his eye lasers at us. He doesn't last much longer and goes down. Probably the easiest boss in the game. This time I won many TVs, suitcases and holidays. Arena 3 now, we get snake men with tridents. Also the faces carved into the wall spewing snakes from their mouths. And big floating purple balls flying around. Look at all this. There are some maniacs that can beat this game without dying once. Sadly, those are the only new things I have to say about this arena. It's a load of enemy spam and lasts for 15 minutes until I reach the boss, the Cobras. Got 2 Cobras to fight, swinging the reds all over and spitting fire. That's their only means of attack too. Probably the dullest boss in the game. I blow the reds off and move on. Not done with this arena yet. The next room says I almost have enough keys. 10 keys are needed to gain access to the hinted at Pleasure Dome. Fun fact, the Pleasure Dome wasn't even in the initial arcade release, it was just made up and hinted at so players would put more money in the machines trying to find it. When people found out it was a lie, there was enough demand for later revisions to actually include it. It was basically Midway's original Rain Can Be Found in the Graveyard. The next room says that we do have enough keys. 5 minutes later after I clear this room of so many baseball men, 2 doors open. One leads to the final boss and the other to the Pleasure Dome. We fuck up and go left to the boss. I also make the same mistake in my 1-player run. So I had to play through again to get it. If you have epilepsy, look the fuck away right now until I tell you it's safe to look again. The Pleasure Dome is a horrific, blinding, flashing mess. It's just another prize room, but instead I'm picking up hundreds of clones of the scantily clad women stood with the show's host. Then the game tells me I beat the other bosses and calls me awesome. Right, final boss time. It's safe to look back now. The final boss is the Evil MC, a reskin of the Mutoid Man modelled after the host. He has the same moveset but repeats many of the host's voice clips. He's more fragile too, I find. Arms go, then head, then chest, then... We get given many more gifts. This time they were the home console part of this game, lawnmowers and some good meat. We then get congratulated on being good at the game, followed by the credits. Smash TV is mindless fun. It's just satisfying to plough through hordes of enemies, although I do admit that the game becomes a little monotonous in the third area, not doing much new and making up for it with enemy spam, but the first 2/3 are really fun and make up for that. It's on many collections and it's always worth a go for about 20 to 30 minutes of fun. No checklist or music ranking because this was planned for a much later bonus episode and I haven't yet decided what parts, if any, I want to do. For what it's worth, the only part I currently own is the Master System one. But yeah, fun game, nice to give it another go after so many years.